to run for office. He has already decided he wants to attend the College of William and Mary and play basketball. He says he entered the competition because he realized that no matter what age you are, you can make a difference. Please give Myles Lainer a warm welcome.
Many of us have it. Some of us lose it. Everybody wants it. I'm talking about freedom. It may look like we all have freedom, but believe me, not everyone in this room does. If we're tired of what's happening in America, we need to stand up and fight for our freedom. We need to acknowledge the fact that there are problems in this country that we are sick and tired of. And finally, we need to realize that America is in a crisis and that everyone's freedom is at stake. However, in order to understand if you do or don't have freedom, you first need to understand what freedom is. So let's discuss what freedom really is. Freedom isn't just being able to get a bus ride home after a hard and long day of work. Freedom is being able to get a bus ride home after a hard and long day of work without being told to move because you're a black woman. Freedom isn't just being able to go to school and learn. Freedom is being able to go to school and learn without having to fear for your life while you're working on your classroom assignments. Freedom isn't just being able to drive your car. Freedom is being able to drive your car without being pulled over by the police because of the color of your skin. Many of us have it. Some of us lose it. Everybody wants it. Freedom. However, not everyone wants to go through the difficulties, the trials and tribulations that we all have to go through in order to obtain that freedom. Dr. King once said that freedom isn't voluntarily given by the oppressor. It must be demanded by the oppressed. You cannot drown in an ocean of hopelessness saying, oh no, there goes my freedom fluttering out the window. You have to fight for it. When the shooting happened at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High, those students did not just sit there and do nothing. In the midst of their sorrow, in the midst of their fear, in the midst of their youth, they stood up and said, never again, MSD, never again. When Mari Copley found out that the water in her city was contaminated with lead, she stood up and said, we deserve clean water too, despite being just 8 years old. And when Fannie Lou Hamer saw that blacks were being treated unfairly at the polls, she stood up and declared that I am sick and tired of being sick and tired. And guess what? I'm tired too. I'm tired of the sea of voices chanting, send them back at political rallies. I'm tired of the millions of votes that weren't counted on election day. I'm tired of racial slurs being passed from person to person like an infectious disease that nobody wants. I'm tired of people insulting others just because of their race, just because of their ethnicity, and just because of their sexual orientation. I'm tired of American citizens not being treated like they're American citizens, and I'm tired of all this racism, hate, and bigotry tearing apart America. Racism, hate, and bigotry. These are the words used to describe a great country. Racism, hate, and bigotry. Many of us have it. Some of us lose it. Everybody wants it. Freedom. And I believe that it is time for everyone in this room to have their inalienable right to food. I believe that we need to fight for what our Constitution promises by standing up for what is right, for what is true, and for what is just. I believe that we really are sick and tired of being sick and tired. I believe that we really do want a better America for every single citizen. But we have to act now if we want what's best for ourselves. We have to act now if we want a better next generation. And finally, we have to act now because next time, well, it might just be too late.
Sorority who have put together this phenomenal program over the last 30 years, and they have a few special hashtags they wanted me to bring to your attention. So if you have your phone right now, it's a perfect opportunity to do hashtag news4, all right? Hashtag news4, hashtag working for you. That's the number 4 and the letter U. And lastly, hashtag in the community. So as you're posting and sharing your photographs and your videos from today, let's remember those hashtags to continue to push this initiative in our community, all right? Hashtag news4, hashtag working for you, and hashtag in the community. Thank you, Myles, for your inspirational speech. And we're going to move on to our next speaker for today. Our second middle school speaker is Kamari Chisolm from Bull Run Middle School. Kamari, he has a dream to become a professional baseball player. And as you will hear, he entered the competition to pay tribute to his dream and honor a great freedom fighter. Please welcome him to the podium, Kamari Chisolm.
And the theme of the presentation is Let Freedom Ring. I chose to speak about Jackie Robinson because he played an important role in fighting for freedom for African Americans. There's not an American in this country free until every one of us is free. There's not an American in this country free until every one of us is free. Jackie Robinson. Jackie Robinson fought for freedom for African Americans. I like Jackie Robinson for many reasons, but the main reason I like Jackie Robinson is because we have many similarities. 1, we both played number 42. 2, we both play infield and outfield. And 3, we're both really fast. Jackie wasn't just a baseball player. He was also an outstanding football player, basketball player, and a track runner at UCLA. Most people know Jackie because he was the first African American to integrate the MLB in 1945 with the Brooklyn Dodgers. Here's some other notable firsts. He was the first African American to be inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. He was the first African American to be vice president of a major U.S. corporation. He was the first African American to be a TV sports analyst, and he was the first athlete with his number universally retired. Yeah, the entire major leagues. When Jackie was the Dodgers, he experienced every form of racial discrimination possible, and even death threats. During games, people would throw things at him trying to hurt him. The worst situation was in Philadelphia, when the other team refused to play with the black player on the field. The Dodgers manager told his team, and I quote, "I'd rather lose all of you than Jackie." Jackie was a very good ball player. He won Rookie of the Year and MVP. Another reason I like Jackie is because he did a lot for the African American community by fighting for freedom. He chaired a $1 million Freedom Fund drive in 1957. In 1964, he helped start the Freedom National Bank. And in 1970, he started the Jackie Robinson Construction Company for low-income families so that African Americans could have the freedom to live in a house. Later in life, Robinson found himself involved in baseball again, but not as a player. This time, he began fighting for the integration of African American coaches, insisting that the MLB hire African American coaches. He was invited to the Old Timers game, but refused to attend because African American coaches still weren't hired. He was also asked to start the first pitch in the World Series. Although he was honored to do so, he still did not give up his fight. In conclusion, while pursuing their dreams, many people are denied their freedom. For example, when I was 8 years old, I was denied the freedom to try out for a position on the baseball team. All I wanted to do was play second base like Jackie Robinson. When I asked the coach if I could just try out for second base, I was told, and I quote, "My son already plays the position, Kamari. He just stuck me in the outfield like coaches normally do with African Americans. Even though I'm fast, that doesn't mean I just play outfield." I was disappointed to say the least. If I was a better second baseman than the coach's son, shouldn't I play the position? Apparently, it was not that simple. Although I have certain freedoms, my freedom from discrimination and being treated fairly may continue to be a struggle. If, however, I could prove from the strength of Jackie Robinson, I will too achieve my dream of becoming a Major League Baseball player. You should remember this great man for not only his Major League play, but for his work to give all people the freedom that they deserve. There's not an American in this country free until every one of us is free. Until every one of us is free. Jackie Robinson.
Thank you, Kamari, for that creative speech. Our final middle school speaker today is Nyela Asterilla Anderson from Hampton Middle School. Nyela wants to one day be an FBI investigator or profiler. She told us that she entered this competition because she wants people to realize that young people are not oblivious to what is happening in our world. They want a voice. Please welcome to the podium, Nyela Asterilla Anderson.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to start off by telling you a story. One day, my mom and I were shopping, and we were followed in a store. We kept walking, thinking maybe the lady might have wanted the same clothes as us. The same shirt, the same jeans. However, my mom seemed to notice something a little more, so she turned around and asked if there was a problem. The lady said no, and went back to putting clothes on the rack. Now then, I didn't understand why this lady was following us, but now, I think I do. Imagine being followed in a store, or tailgated by police. These are things that some people deal with on a daily basis. To some, a person's skin color reflects who they are, the way they walk, the way they talk, and even how smart that person may be is all determined by one look at their face and the pigment of their skin. January 1st, 1863 was the day that African Americans were freed from slavery. But racism and discrimination still holds us close to this day. Now we've come a long way from slavery and segregation, but now we continue to fight racism and social injustice. Society looks at not just African Americans, but all minorities differently. We are labeled with different stereotypes based on sexual orientation, skin complexion, ethnic background, and much more. So how are we free with stereotypes holding us by our ankles and labels stuck to our backs like kick me signs? So my question to you is, when will freedom ring? Martin Luther King said freedom is never voluntarily given by the oppressor, but demanded by the oppressed. We've begged, we've screamed, we've marched, we've sat, and we are still looked at differently. We've won some battles, but we are still at war with racism and discrimination. We, the oppressed, are tired of watching America tear minorities down. Americans are tired of turning on the TV and seeing immigrant children ripped from a pleading mother's hands, or another dead, unarmed, innocent black man. The blatant looks and accusatory stares are like shackles. The stereotypical labels that society has stuck to minorities' backs keep some 1,000 steps ahead and some 1,000 steps back. So not only am I asking you when will freedom ring, but how will it ring? Or can it ring with the system that is set up against America's non-majority citizens? Statistics show that African Americans and Hispanics are more likely to be stopped, searched, arrested, and even convicted of crimes they did not commit. Why does this happen? Why are we the ones more likely to be arrested? One of Martin Luther King's most notable speeches was his I Have a Dream speech. He dreamed about wanting his children to grow up in a world where they are not judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. He said this back in 1963. It is now 2020, and communities of color are still being judged by the color of their skin and not by the content of their character. It has been too long. When are things going to change for us? How are things going to change for us? I'll tell you how. As I said before, we've begged, we've screamed, we've marched, and we've sat. Now we have another opportunity for our voices to be heard. This is through our upcoming election. Now many Americans choose not to vote. Now, many Americans choose not to vote, but how can your voice be heard if you don't speak up? Many people have sacrificed their own freedoms in order for minority citizens to be able to vote. So why not use this freedom? This is a chance for things to get better. This is a chance for us to get the changes that we desire. So we must continue to fight. We must continue to protest, and we must continue to ask, how and when will freedom ring? Thank you.
For a very thought-provoking speech. Let's thank all of our middle school speakers. At this time, we want to pause to reflect on the history of the Martin Luther King program in the Prince William County area. We have produced a short documentary titled, Looking Back, Forging Forward.